And that year on our schedule was Evangel College. I just couldn't believe, I couldn't imagine Evangel College even having a basketball team, let alone real basketball players. And so we played them at home first. I got over to the gym an hour early just so I could see them come in. They came in, they had leather jackets on, they had cheerleaders. I said, gee, this looks like it's a real college. And we played them, we beat them. I played on a really good team my freshman year. We didn't lose hardly any games. And so then we played them down there, too. We played them home and away. And I had a really good game against them down there. Well, so the school closes down. I was enrolled to go to another college. And I was working at a funeral home, and the funeral director was away, and I'm just in the home all by myself there for this week, just kind of answering phone calls and stuff. And I just wasn't comfortable with the choice I'd made for college. So it's July, and I called the college, call Evangel up. I just kept feeling this gnawing, and I called them up. I said, if you get a scholarship for me to play basketball, I'll come there. They said, well, money's been gone for a long time, but we'll find you some money. Come on down. So I did. I went down. Now, see, I made a wrong turn. I probably should have gone straight to Evangel. But I made a wrong turn and got off course for a year. But the Lord got me back on course. And it was there that I was to meet my wife. I didn't even know she existed. I prayed whenever I was 10 years old, Lord, please take away all this ugliness and make it so somebody will love me. Pimples and I didn't know that the answer to that prayer was there. And I made a wrong turn. But God got me on the right track. See? And then I made a second one that was bad. I enlisted in the Army because I was going to be drafted, but I enlisted to go to officer school, officer's candidate school. And I remember I got sworn in Kansas City, Missouri at the induction center. Stepped across the white line. The guy says, you're now in the Army. Go clean the latrine. I said, wait a minute here. My mom never made me clean the latrine. Down to the latrines we went, brush in hand, scrubbed out, worked on them all day long. And then they sent a bus for us to take us from Kansas City to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, which is about a 2.5-hour trip. It was a 50-seat bus with 52 people on it. 2 people had to stand all the way to Fort Leonard Wood. I was either 51 or 52. I still remember standing there holding on, for 2.5 hours standing up. We get there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're met with these MPs. They got the helmet liners on, big white MP on the front, highly starched fatigues. They had ascots on and everything. We stepped on the bus. I heard every profane, vile word encapsulated in about a 3-minute haranguing that I had never heard before but had seen written in bathrooms across the country. They were all used on me. And I'm kind of like, bleh. They take us in. They scream at us till midnight. Actually, it was 3 o'clock in the morning when we got there. They scream at us, take all of our personal possessions away, take us up to the supply room. They give us our boots. They give us all of our supplies and stuff. It's now about 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. They say, go get breakfast. We went and got breakfast. It's been a long day now. And then they let us sleep till about noon, and then real hell began. And so I went through 2 months of basic. They shipped me down to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for AIT because that's where the officer's candidate school was for artillery, which is what I enlisted for. And I went through AIT, and the pressure had come off a little bit there. And it wasn't as bad as basic had been. And I knew I was going to have to just go across base for another 6 months for OCS. And the first thing they were going to do was put us back through all that again. They were going to scream at us. They were going to cut our hair all off again. It was just going to be horrible. So I called my dad, and I said, Dad, what would you do? He said, well, son, if it was me, I'd get in and I'd get out. And it kind of took away any drive that I had. So I went to the officer in charge. I said, I don't want to go to OCS. Because I had that option. He said, well, if you don't go to OCS, you're going straight to Vietnam. It's your choice. I said, well, and the officer was Lieutenant Brown. He said, look at me. I went through OCS, and I'm still stateside here, and everything is wonderful. I said, well, I'm not going to OCS. So they did. They shipped me straight to Vietnam. I'd been in country about 6 months, and I'm sitting at my orderly desk, and I look up before me as a new officer coming into the unit. It was Lieutenant Brown. I jumped up from my chair. I said, Lieutenant Brown, welcome to Vietnam. He wasn't happy. But I never thought any more about it. And it was about 10 years later, I was just walking in my kitchen one day. Just walking in my kitchen up. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me. He said, do you remember when you chose not to go to OCS? I said, yeah. He said, you made the wrong choice. You chose wrong. I had it all laid out for you. You were going to go through OCS. You were going to come out of the service a captain. You'd have gone through second lieutenant, first lieutenant. You'd have been a captain. You would have got out, and you would have had that distinction